Thank you for standing by and welcome to the Radiopharm Theranostics Investor Webinar and Q&A following this morning's announcement of a $10 million entitlement offer to shareholders. All participants are in a listen-only mode. There will be a presentation followed by Q&A based on questions that have been submitted live during the session. If you'd like to submit a question, please do so using the Q&A function within the Zoom app. On the webinar for Radiopharm Theranostics, we have Managing Director and CEO Riccardo Canevari. Presentation today will last for approximately 20 minutes with time for the Q&A thereafter. To begin, I'll hand it over to Riccardo.
Thank you, Matt, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My pleasure to be here in Sydney. I arrived yesterday from US, as of course this is an important communication to shareholders that we announce on the ASX. So what are the investment highlights for Radiopharm Theranostics? Of course, the company is a radiopharmaceutical company in preclinical and clinical stage. We do have 4 priorities that are advancing very well, I would say, moving really to the time where we are collecting data in phase 1 or beyond. Our IP is solid with molecule cover well beyond 2040. It is very important to secure isotope in this market, and we are very well positioned. I continue to be very glad about the team of Radiopharm Theranostics and the expertise in the field of imaging and therapeutic radiopharmaceutical. I will have the opportunity to share more about our business model and our lean approach and low capital intensity. And as Matt was sharing, we are raising 10 million Australian dollar through a right issue. And here you can see some details of the offer. More information can be found on our website, and looking forward to a successful raise, of course. At this moment, say the latest update from yesterday, we do have 3.8 million in the bank. We hope to have a successful raise of $10 million, and we do expect some additional cash rebate, cash refund that will go on top of this number. Our last raise was a year ago in October of 10 million, and we were able to fund the operation until today. And we are planning with this capital raise to fund our 4 priorities until at least Q3 2024. So we keep using money with a lot of attention, clearly investing majority, if not all of them, in R&D with a very lean capital structure. Here is the offer timetable. Again, you can see more on the website. But now let me go through the company overview and share with you what we are doing and what our plan is in the near future. Exciting times for radiopharmaceutical. Some of you might have seen so many recent announcements from new big pharma entering the field. The latest one was Eli Lilly that made an acquisition of Point Biopharma. Recently was Novartis adding more molecule to their field, AstraZeneca, and more coming. And the merger acquisition or the overall investment in the field is increasing every single month. So in this positive environment, we do believe that Radiopharm Theranostics can play an important role, bringing innovative radiopharmaceutical to patients suffering from cancer. We do have a unique business model. As I mentioned before, we invest the great majority of our funds in R&D. And the reason, because we decided to have a low resource allocation to G&A, a small team of 11 people, And I will show later our approach in terms of building a low capital intensity company. Our molecules are very well protected by solid IP for a long time. We are in this space with differentiated molecule, really looking at solid tumor indication where other radiopharmaceutical company are not present at the moment. I'm very glad with the team that I have. Everybody has a strong experience in radiopharmaceutical, either imaging, therapeutic, or both. And with our pipeline, I do expect to have continuous news flow in the next 3, 6, or 9 months. But the company Radiopharm Theranostics was really created a little bit more than 2 years ago. So what we have done in these 2 years was to bring our idea of a company into a reality. We wanted to create a company that is strong and flexible at the same time. So low capital intensity and flexible resource allocation. What does it mean? It means that you need to engage, you need to have collaboration and partnership with the top player in the field without building everything internally. We didn't want to build a R&D department internally, a facility, a brick and mortar facilities. And so we decided to partner with the best. In terms of isotope, for example, there is scarcity and you need to move earlier and you need to secure that you have all the isotope that you need. And we were able to conclude 7 contracts with 7 different companies to be sure that we don't have exposure at risk of having stock out or some geographical risk that are always possible nowadays. So we have a very strong supply of the 3 isotopes that we do need. In terms of pipeline development, again, we don't want to do everything internally. We don't want to hire multiple people doing R&D in the company. So we decide to partner with very strong institutions. And, it's not easy to have, unique agreement with companies like MD Anderson Cancer Center, the #1 cancer center in the world. We do have agreement with UCLA, Case Western University, Technical University of Munich, all of them helping to develop our pipeline with a lot of expertise in the field. And we do the same for the rest, preclinical, clinical, molecule production. We do have strong partners. And in addition to that, if we look at pharma company, we do have in place an agreement with Lantheus for one of our molecules, RAD 204. So that's, of course, our business model that is very different from other companies. We don't believe in the vertical integration, at least right now. We do believe in extensive partnership. So a little bit of refreshment of memory for the company. The company was created only 2 years ago. We went to IPO in November 21. We raised 20 and 50 million in total in 2021. We built the company, we built the team, we licensed the technology, and we start delivering some clinical results. But it's really 2023, the year of the transformation of the company. We are now on the edge of transforming the company from a preclinical to a clinical stage organization with multiple assets. And we did this in about 2 years. That is a very short time in clinical development and pharma development. But if we go more specific on our pipeline, we do have 4 priorities: 2 imaging and 2 therapeutics. This is what we want to bring to the next step successfully. 4 molecules that are differentiated and are addressing clear unmet medical need. Let me start from the top. Our most advanced technology is Pivalate for patients with brain metastasis. We deliver a successful phase 2A trial. And now we are in final conversation with FDA to conclude the tech transfer and to start the trial in the US. This is going to be a multi-center phase 2B trial that is bringing pivalate in patients with brain mets to late stage development. So unmet medical need, very interesting commercial potential. The second priority is our pancreatic imaging technology, Trivaxin or RAD 301. We did receive 2 weeks ago the final approval from FDA in terms of having the supply chain ready to go for our clinical trial. And patients are already under screening, and we can start with the first dose in the first patient every day now. So very positive evolution of this trial that will be inpatient, as I said, can be any day now. Not only imaging, but also a therapeutic, our first 2 therapeutic molecule. The first one, RAD 204, again, we announced in October, so a few weeks ago, the ethics approval from Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane to start the phase 1 dose escalating trial in patients with non-small cell lung cancer. And our 4 priorities is in HER2 expressing tumor. This trial will be performed in US in patients with breast or gastric cancer. We are planning to submit an IND by the end of this year. So as you can see, all these 4 molecules are in a moment of important transformation, ready to go to the next step of active clinical development. And this will be, of course, an exciting time for the company. But let me go briefly one by one. Of course, you will have time to go through the presentation that is going to be on our website or to answer questions later on. Brain metastasis is a very large disease area, more than 300,000 patients diagnosed every year in US only. And MRI is a good technology for detecting, but has limitation when we go post-surgery or post-radiation. And this is clearly the unmet medical need for this technology. This technology has proven already positive phase 1, positive phase 2A data, and we are now starting a phase 2B trial. As soon as we receive IND approval and we complete the tech transfer from UK to US, the trial will be quite small, only 30 patients, and after that we will move to the phase 3 trial. So commercialization and potential approval are not far away for this technology that is going to be our most advanced. And we have data already presented at key congress as well as peer review journal, and the feedback we receive is always extremely, extremely positive. On the second priority, well, this is a pancreatic cancer. So it's a very tough disease. Unfortunately, ability to detect earlier in patient is so critical because expectation of survival when you have this disease is very limited. So we are really glad to be in this space because we had the opportunity to make the difference. We have a strong belief in this technology. I mean, everything is telling us that this is high potential and probability of success seems to be quite high for these products. The reason is that we do have a lot of data. We almost have 100 patients already dosed with this product. 66 has been dosed under compassionate use. 33 has been dosed under an investigator-initiated trial. So we already have data about safety, about efficacy, about quality of the images. And now we are starting, as I mentioned before, any day, our phase 1 trial under IND. It will be 9 patients only. So speaking with the principal investigator that is in New York City at the Albert Einstein Hospital. By the way, we have planned a visit to him next week when I will be back to speak with him, with the oncologist, with the tumor board, to have their feeling about the trial. But we know that everybody is extremely positive, and expectation is that we can recruit the entire trial in only 3 months. So by the end of December, we believe we can be in full recruitment for this trial. So that 2024 is going to be already a year where we look at late development. We have publication, as I mentioned before, because we have so many patients already dosed, showing great images, better detection ability, better accuracy of the data, and superiority versus the current standard of care that is FDG. So we believe that this technology has really high promising possibilities ahead, and is an area where everybody is really telling will be great to have something better for those patients. The current technology are not giving us what we need. So yeah, we feel the importance of what we are doing with this technology, and we are very committed to make this happen very, very fast. So those two imaging products are very critical for Radiopharm success. Imaging, as you know, tend to be faster in terms of development compared to therapeutic. And we receive external assessment. This was not done by us, with all independent research. And we receive very encouraging commercial potential results from these two products, combined sales of around 600 million every year at peak sales for only these two imaging products. So very, very high promising. If we now move to the two therapeutic that are our additional two priorities, we are entering now the therapeutic field that also, of course, is so critical for patients living with cancer. In this specific case, we are talking about patients with non-small cell lung cancer, patient that receive already, checkpoint inhibitor as a main therapy, but, either fail the therapy or anyhow the tumor keep progressing. So we are offering this patient a phase 1 dose escalating trial with our RAD 204, is a single domain monoclonal antibody with lutetium-177. Of course, non-small cell lung cancer is also a very large indication, with 200,000 patients every year diagnosed with this disease only in US. And why we decide about these products to be a priority for us, and we consider this technology quite de-risked. And the reason is that we already have not only preclinical data in the animal model, but even more important, we have imaging data in human. So we know about these products, we know how it behaves, we know the biodistribution, we know the pharmacokinetic, we know the organs that are involved, and this product is considered of high interest, not only from us, but also from Lantheus. Lantheus has the global rights for the imaging agent, and we at Radiopharm Theranostics, we own the IP, and also we have the global rights for the therapeutic. So while Lantheus is developing the imaging that is already in phase 2, is called Pelican trial, we are starting the development of the phase 1 of the therapeutic molecule. The trial will be performed at Princess Alexandra here in Australia, at Brisbane, and we plan to have 27 patients in the trial that is starting by the end of this year. We hope for end of November as a potential start for the first patient. So very exciting technology. And now let me have a quick comment about our 4 priorities. So this is our second therapeutic molecule. It is targeting a very well-known pathway in cancer, that is HER2. We are doing a phase 1 dose escalating trial in patients with breast or gastric cancer. We have already identified the CRO, that is ICON. We are working with the Indiana University in the US to prepare this trial that will be a dose escalating trial in about 21 patients with lutetium 177. Also here, there is a significant unmet medical need. And we are confident about this technology because, again, in addition to the preclinical data in the animal model, we do have human data. We have imaging trial that was performed in 10 patients, an additional IIT in 6 that is helping us to understand the molecule behavior. So now that we know how the molecule behaves, here is the time to start with therapeutic trial. We are planning to submit the IND to FDA by the end of this year. So again, exciting time for bringing innovation to patients living with cancer. And if we put this together, our first priority are really creating important inflection point. One has been already achieved, that is the ethics committee approval for our non-small cell lung cancer products. We do expect 4 additional good news by now and the end of the year. The first patient in pancreatic cancer, the first patient in lung cancer, the first patient in pivalate for brain mets, and the IND submission for the phase 1 in breast and gastric cancer. If this is happening this year, we also expect that by the end of Q2 of 2024, so I'm talking about June 2024, we should have clinical data readout. The phase 1 in pancreatic cancer, the phase 2b in brain mets should be reporting data that, of course, for a biotech company is a great inflection point. And this is where we are using the funds that we are asking the shareholder to help and to commit, is really to bring this 4 technology to the next step with 2 data readout around mid of next year. So very positive evolution. We are, as I mentioned before, we really use the first 2 years of the company to complete preclinical, to bring the molecule up to speed. And now we are entering a new phase for the company that is moving from preclinical to clinical stage with 4 different assets. It will be really exciting for all of us to start collecting data in patient, not only safety, but also early signal of efficacy to really understand how we can make the difference in this field. And with this, I would like to send it back to Matt for a comment, or if there is any question, I will be very, very happy to answer.
Thank you, Ricardo. As you've alluded to, we'll now go to the Q&A session. Once again, if anyone in the audience does have a question, please feel free to type it in using the function within Zoom. The first question I have, Ricardo, is can you speak a little bit to how much M&A activity there's been in the radiopharma sector?
Absolutely. This has been huge, I would say. In the next 6 months, there has been a lot of excitement about the results that Novartis is bringing to the field. I mean, first of all, I'm very glad about these results because I've been in Novartis for about 20 years. And in my last role, I was exactly leading the commercial function of the radiopharmaceutical division. So I was working on the molecule that now have been approved by FDA and are bringing success to the field. So seeing the products called Pluvicto in prostate cancer doing so well, of course, I'm very happy. I'm very proud of that. And these results are bringing the attention of many big pharma. I mentioned before that Eli Lilly made an important acquisition of Point Biopharma, was about 3 weeks ago. Roche has made an acquisition of small molecule in the field. Novartis is already present, of course, and AstraZeneca is already present. So I believe it's just a question of a month when other large biopharma or big pharma, sorry, will enter the field. We receive constantly requests for meetings from other pharma companies that want to understand our pipeline. They want to understand our molecule, what we are doing in the field. And the reason is that there is now a clear understanding that beyond the typical approach in oncology, that you can have surgery to remove the tumor, you can have targeted therapy to have specific molecule working on specific cancer type. Of course, you have chemotherapy. And there is a clear understanding that radiopharmaceutical can be the next pillar in oncology. And that's why there is so much excitement. And I can just believe that M&A will strongly continue in the next 5 years.
Thanks, Ricardo. The next question I have is, do you expect to realise the value of RAD 301 following completion of the phase 1?
Well, this is, as I mentioned before, this is an exciting technology because patients with pancreatic cancer do have limited option, and so early diagnosis is extremely important to better stage the patient and take the right decision. So the phase 1, as I mentioned, is only 9 patients. We are extremely confident about the positive results. The positive results for a phase 1 trial means safety, but also in an imaging trial, you do have opportunity to see the images. And what physician wants is accuracy of the images to better understand where the small metastases are for patients with pancreatic cancer. So at the end of phase 1, that we believe is going to be fully recruited by December of 2023, we are already organizing a meeting with FDA at the beginning of new year to discuss the next step of the trial, because this is an area where we are fully convinced that this technology can make the difference.
Thanks, Ricardo. The next question is, some of the trials have taken a bit longer to get to commencement than initially planned. Can you talk a bit about that and how it can be mitigated in future?
Yeah, look, this is true. I mean, preclinical or clinical development are not linear. Sometimes something happens and it takes longer. In our case, sometimes we're just administrative situation. For example, you need a permission. We are dealing with radioactive substance. So, for example, for our trial in New York City, we needed an extra approval in order to deliver the products from the production site to the clinical center. You can imagine that, moving, even if it's low dose, radioactive material in New York City is something that is under scrutiny. So it took longer than we expect to have this approval. It was nothing to do with the quality of the product, the fact that it's promising, that the clinical site was ready. It's just that sometimes it takes longer than you think to have all the paperwork in place. But overall, I'm extremely satisfied by the progresses because, yes, something took longer than we thought, but there was no major reason. There was no concern of safety, no concern of preclinical data that was not reassuring, nothing of this. Our 4 priorities are progressing well, and we are convinced that now is the time to accelerate into the clinical development, and that's why I continue to remain extremely confident about the high potential of these assets.
Thank you. The next question is, can trivahexin be made into a therapeutic product?
The answer is yes, it can. You see that trivahexin is called RAD 301. We do have already what is called RAD 302. That is the therapeutic version of trivahexin with lutetium-177. We have completed the candidate selection about 4 to 5 months ago. We believe that now we have the right products. Our plan is to conduct the so-called IND enabling study. So we need to perform a biodistribution study and a tox study in animal, and then we can submit the IND. We believe that we can have our therapeutic radiopharmaceutical for trivahexin entering clinical stage, so entering phase 1 in the second part of 2024.
Thank you, Ricardo. I don't have any further questions, so I'll throw it back to you just to give a concluding comment.
So thanks a lot for everybody that was at the webinar. I'm extremely confident about our molecules and our possibility to make the difference in oncology in such an important area. Radiopharmaceuticals are an emerging asset class in oncology, and we believe that radiopharmaceutical pipeline is unique. And our business model is really having in mind an approach of building a strong but flexible company. We want to be sure we use the money that we receive with a lot of attention. We want to be sure that we can extend as much as possible the runway. That's why we keep a small team. We don't have corporate costs like corporate office or buildings where we do R&D, because we believe that partnering with key player, partnering with the best, is a strong opportunity to bring our pipeline to the next step. So thanks to everybody. I really hope that you enjoy the time. Even more important, we are an important capital raise moment. So we are looking forward to your continued support, and we will keep you posted. We do have in the next 6 to 9 months a lot of news coming, and we will keep the market informed as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for your support.